equivalent fractions. Again, these are fractions that have the same value or amount. They're not the same because you're talking about different size pieces, but they take up the same amount of space. Here on the top, we looked at a shape and we've got 1/2 on the top, and we were trying to find how many fourths would be equal to 1/2, have the same amount of space taken up. So we know this is 1/4 and this is 1/4. And so we have 2/4 is equal to 1/2. We came down here and looked at sixths as well because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. Again, as I'm looking at this, I've got 1/6, 1/6, and 1/6. So altogether, I have 3/6. And so I know that 3/6 is equal to 2/4, which is equal to 1/2. They're all equivalent. Now we're going to go down and start to use it on a number line. Similar idea as up above. Here, I need to start with my original fraction. So here, let's start with fourths. Okay, we'll start with our idea of 4/4. Here, I've divided my, or 2/4. I've divided my fraction or my number line into 4 parts. I've got on here 1/4, I've got on here 2/4, and I've got on here 3/4, and finally at the end, I've got 4/4. Down here, I might decide how many eighths is going to be equal to however many fourths. So I'm going to divide this into eighths, 1/8 parts. Here again, I'm going to start here and go and divide my fraction up here, or my number line up. And as I divide it, I can go forward and kind of see where they are. Because they're on two separate number lines, I want to make sure that they're lined up so that they're of equal size. Again, if they're not of equal size, you can't really compare them. It's hard to really determine exactly how much space is taken up. Here, I can go forward and go, this is 1/8, this is 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and finally 8/8. Okay. On this number line, what I can see is that there are a number of fractions that are equal or equivalent. Here, these are at the same exact spot on the number line. 1/4 is equal to 2/8. Okay, 1/4 will be equal to 2/8. If I take two of these pieces together and put them together, they're going to be equal to the same amount of space taken up by 1/4. Here I also can continue on forward and I can go, oh, this here is at the same spot too. 2/4 and 4/8. They're at the same exact spot. So they are equal or equivalent. Okay. Um, can you see the other two that are on there? Take a look at our number line and take a look to see which other pairs of fractions are going to be equivalent. That's right. The next two that are on here would be 6/8 and 3/4. They're at the exact same spot, so they are equivalent. And then finally here we have 8/8 and 4/4. These are equivalent fractions. I can go down and I can do that for any number of fractions, but keep in mind that you won't always find an equivalent. For example, there's no equivalent number of fourths that is going to be equal to 3/8. There's no equivalence here. So you're not always going to have them being equivalent. But you can when I go in here, if I make, say, for example, if I had 1/4, I might decide to go, how many 16ths is equal to 1/4? Or I could decide if I had 2/3, how many sixths would be equal to 2/3? And I could divide my number line up into 6 parts in order to solve that. Give that a shot today while you're practicing looking for equivalent fractions and using number lines to solve for them.